Today I want to set up my traveler's notebook with this beautiful book from Galen Leather. And my intention for this series is to write Pride and Prejudice, write off this book. It's the original Pride and Prejudice. It's the Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I got this beautiful book recently and it inspired me to start this series. And the intention behind this is on a regular basis to write with my various fountain pen. I have a huge fountain pen collection with gold nibs, stainless steel nibs, and my intention is to write with them using different inks from my huge ink collection and to review the fountain pen, the ink, and the combination of the fountain pen and ink as well, to tell you my pen thoughts, my feelings about them. And I'm going to be using this beautiful book from Galen Leather. I love Galen Leather, and this might have been the older collection. I think this is the new recent one that I purchased this year. I've been using Galen Leather for a long time, and it's usually in Tomoe River paper, and it does say it's the Tomoe River white paper. It does say it's the Tomoe River white paper. And I'm going to be using this book in my traveler's notebook. This is the camel collection, rather the camel cover. If you're not aware of this, it's the traveler's notebook. And I absolutely love the simplicity of this notebook. So let's set it up. So here we go with my notebook itself. Let's put this aside. So very simply, get the bookmark off. I'm not going to be using a lot of notebooks because my intention is to just use this one notebook over here. And of course, as you know, you can piggyback 2 or 3 notebooks within the same cover. But my intention at this point is to just use this one notebook and use this as a cover. We have the setup ready. However, the one thing that I love about Galen is that it comes with these blotter paper as well as these guidelines. Now, if I was writing, I would have used just the ruled paper. However, I do not write in landscape, or rather I do not write in portrait. I write in landscape. So you will see that in a minute. So while I am writing, this is not going to be very helpful for me because I'll be writing across. So in that case, what the grid paper that I use is, I think over here I've put a whole lot of my other collection papers as well. So I'll be using this for to get regular straight lines. Usually I do write without the grid paper as well, but this time I'm going to actually set it up with it just to kind of try and get as straight lines as possible. Another thing is they come with their own blotting sheet, and what I love about this is it's not a paper, it's actually a piece of some sort of leather which is great at absorbing and blotting out the ink. So I'm going to be using this on the other side, like, to help me along. So I've already got this ready. Let's put this right back. Now I'm not going to be talking while I'm writing. What I intend to do is to just simply copy the script, write it out, and then have a voiceover with my views on the ink, the fountain pen, and I will be using Tomoe River paper, so that's not going to change. But for my general journaling experience, I love Tomoe River paper. Now recently I do know we've got this Tomoe River Sanzan, I think it's called, paper, but I also use Midori paper. I love Midori. I also like the Clairefontaine, but it's not in the same league. But Tomoe has been my favorite for the way it shows off the ink colors, the glitter, the sheen, the shading properties. I find it best shows off on Tomoe River paper. My second favorite is Midori, but I do use different kinds of papers as well. But for this exercise, I'm going to be sticking with the paper that I get from Galen Leather, or maybe Traveler's Notebook. Traveler's Notebook themselves do very good paper, and their lightweight paper is also the one that I do enjoy writing in. So I may switch to that from time to time, but it depends. I mean, I will be completing a book at a time. So let's get started. So for this exercise, the start, I'm actually going to be using my Montblanc Boheme. And I love this one. So this is where my fountain pen, my gold nib fountain pen journey began. I got it for one of my birthdays, and I love it. Like, just look at the way the nib comes out. So let's start. I'm gonna have a very simple, my handwriting is not that great. I don't it's okay, it's very okay, but I do love writing, so that's all this is all about, is just a quiet spell suddenly. That's all. And let's go on to the first page. So of course, the ink color over here, I cannot tell you for sure because it actually, I don't think I cleaned out the pen very well, so I think it's got a mix of ink, or I hadn't noted it down properly, so I can't tell you exactly what ink is in this pen. However, in the future when I'm writing, I will let you know the exact ink used and the ink combination and all in the pen that I'm using. So that is the intention. Let's see how the series comes along, right? So here we go. I've just flattened it against the blotter, and just a little bit of ink has gone through. Now I'm going to be using the wider grid because my handwriting is fairly big, and so I do like a lot of spacing between my writing. So there we go. I hope I am in frame, so I've kind of got a little bit more space, so I'll kind of use it. I'm a little bit slower with this, and I'm not used to recording, so please do excuse me. We got this beautiful book, and that's the inspiration. Okay, that is the actual inspiration. I do have the habit of numbering or dating my journal entries, but as this is not a journal entry, I'm not going to be dating it. But I hope you're okay with my voice and the recording, because at this point of time I'm talking as I'm writing. So another thing is, I'm not a very fast writer, so you will need to give way for that as well. One thing I will say is, while writing now, I'm going to be actually going very slow, so please don't mind that. I'm going to be a slow writer, but the whole intention of this is for me to write really slow, and later on to give you a voiceover. But now going forward in this particular video, I'm not going to be talking, I'm just going to write. So take this as a little bit of ASMR kind of video as well. So from here, I'm just going to be quiet. You will hear the fan in the background though, so just ignore that. I'm actually going to be this way. This is my preference for my journaling. Though when yes, got it. that is it for today. So just taking you through, as I said, ignore my handwriting, but it's very lovingly done. Just to give you a little glimpse, you did see that I did switch the pages right away. I did not leave it to dry. And I have a feeling that this ink does have some Great Gatsby from Montblanc, and it's got mixed with the old ink that was inside. Yes, sometimes I do that. Usually in my Montblanc I tend to use a Montblanc, but not always. And just to mention a few points, so this Montblanc does come with a cartridge. You cannot put a converter in it, and it has the original Montblanc. This was one of the UNICEF series of cartridge that I had, but of course I filled other ink in it. I usually tend to clean out my cartridge and then fill in new ink, but sometimes I do cheat and don't clean it out. But here is the beautiful nib itself. I love the way the nib actually goes into the bohem. I'm obviously not pronouncing this right. So just to mention, just to go around, this is the ink. As I said, this is not the true color of the Great Gatsby by Montblanc, but it's a mix. It's got a mix of color. So, but it is a green shade. Now, just to mention, the pen is the Montblanc. Boheme. I got this pen about more than 10 years back, and I have loved it. It's done really well for the last 10 years. I've used it. I use it very regularly, and yeah, it's one of my it is my favorites. It's, of course, it has a special place, as this did start off my pen collection, to be honest. So it has a very special place, and it's given me no issues. I don't usually flush out the nib because it's got a mechanism that pulls the nib up and down. When I purchased it, I think the person had told me not to, but I don't know if you can. But I haven't done a full plunge of the system, just because there may be some grease or something around the mechanism, so I didn't want to kind of mess it up. But I do just dip the nib and clean it out from time to time with a clean cloth and stuff. But I do clean out the cartridge perfectly. And this is my pen. This is my lovely Galen Leather book. Now all I'll do is I'll have the next page ready for next time. I do write at a slant, so I cannot put a book straight and write straight. I just can't do that. I think a lot of people do write straight, but I just cannot do it. So I always have my book at a slant. And here is my beautiful traveler's notebook with my Galen Leather, which I will be using on a regular basis during the series. And that's copying out my Pride and Prejudice. So do let me know your thoughts. If you have a bohem, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And do let me know what you think of the series. I mean, I know I'm very slow with my writing, so it's not like I would be somebody who would write very fast. So please do excuse me on that. But in going forward, what I do intend to do is literally just open up the book and just write. Ideally, like maybe a couple of pages, and then give a voiceover with my pen thoughts and ink thoughts. I do get inky hands, and that's absolutely something I love as well, so no issues with that. So on that note, I will say goodbye. Happy writing and happy journaling. Enjoy your inks and pens, and I shall see you soon. Thank you. Bye.